Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My guest today is our good friend Patty Benton, who is here as usual to represent the Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue. And she has a good friend with her. His name is Luke.
Yes, yours perked up when you said his name.
Oh, I said his name. Okay, thank you, Patty, for coming on with one of your canine friends. Tell us something about him.
Okay, well, Luke is about 2 years old. He probably has some pit bull in him, but maybe some lab. He's really mellow. He's neutered male, and he knows he's house trained, that's a plus. And he knows some commands. He'll sit, he'll shake, or give you a paw. He'll lay down on command. And he likes his toys. He likes stuffed toys, and he doesn't really destroy them, which is
Unusual.
different. Yeah, like most of the stuffed toys at the shelter get ripped up pretty.
Oh, yeah. I can just imagine.
It just depends. And so anyway, he's a nice guy. He was adopted as a puppy, but it didn't work out, and they brought him back. So now he's looking for another home.
Another home.
But I guess they had cats and other dogs, and it just was too many, I think, for the home.
Yeah.
But he hasn't shown any. I mean, he doesn't even care about the other dogs. He's really mellow. I walked right past when I went to get him today. Walked right past all the other kennels, and he just wanted to go for a walk. He didn't want to. Some of them will stop and have words with everybody.
Is he one of the ones that barks when people come by?
I have never heard him bark.
Really?
I've never heard him bark. I don't even know if he barks. Do you bark?
You've never heard him bark?
I've never heard him bark.
That is amazing.
Now that you say that, I have never heard this guy bark. So I don't know. Do you bark?
I know most of the dogs there will bark at
Well,
visitors.
yeah, when I went through to get him, he was in the back. He's got a separate kennel. There's two in the back. They have a bigger kennel and a guillotine door to go outside. So he was back there. So I had to lead him past all the other wild, crazy guys, and they're all yelling and screaming, but he was just, fine, let's go.
Yeah, I phoned somebody last evening, and I was hearing this loud noise in the background, and I said, "Is your dog screaming? What is that?" And she goes, "No, we've got the television on." That was what I was hearing. So how did the doggone good yard sale go this summer?
It was fantastic. We have the new pavilion that we built a couple years ago, which really helps out. But we had so many donations. I don't know whether it was spring cleaning after COVID or what, but we just had a ton of donations day after day after day. So we had the most successful yard sale to date. And we also do a basket raffle along with it, and that was a huge success. We even had to rent a tent because we didn't have enough space. We thought with the building and the pavilion that we built, that was enough space the year before, but we had so much we had to put up another tent, rent a tent, and put it up in another yard just for it was such a huge bunch of donations.
Yeah, it was the day that I came, it was really wet and icky. And then the day before it had been hotter than you know what.
Yeah. Well, we did have a challenge a couple of days before. We had high winds. One of our smaller tents blew apart, but my son and I went down and put it back together. He happened to be in town, which was helpful. And we had a lot of water running through the floor of the pavilion. Now this year, it's on our schedule to put walls on the pavilion and some big garage overhead doors. So with some of the money that we made from the sale, we're going to improve that for next year.
You also had a food truck.
We did not have a food truck. Oh, yes, we did have a food truck this year. Yeah, but she was only there for a little while.
Oh, was she?
She kind of got confused about the dates.
Oh, I see.
And so she was only there she was supposed to be there both days, and she only was there for one day because.
Oh, okay. Well, it was there the day that I came. She was there on Saturday, and I guess the reason you had wanted to get her was because people could get bean tacos.
Well, yeah, for me, most people eat anything. I just
and me.
Yeah, and you and I mean, we feel like we should have respect for all the animals, and
right.
They shouldn't be our meal.
Right, exactly,
So,
exactly.
And
a lot of people. A lot of people think they have to eat fish even if they don't eat other meat. I don't know where that. Well, they're doctors who, most of them don't take nutrition classes
Right.
in medical school
Right.
anyway, are telling them it's okay
Yeah.
to eat fish. But
Right.
so if people's doctors tell them that, you're not going to convince them because they think they need it, but they don't. Let me see here. I wanted to mention to you, I'm an election day worker.
Oh,
I work that really long shift every year on election
right.
day, and sometimes if there's primaries, I work those too. But anyway, there was one woman that was working for the first time at the same poll site that I work at, but I already knew the woman because she was kind of like a neighbor to my mother. And anyway, at that time, she had a fox terrier that was about 17 years old
Wow.
at the time. Well, at least 9 years have gone by since then. And I said to her, you probably still don't have that dog of yours anymore, do you? I said he was getting pretty old. And she said no, that he had passed away, but that he had lived to be 27 years
wow.
old.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, I don't have any more, honey.
And it kind of triggered a memory because maybe about 10 years or so ago, I remember in a conversation with somebody else, another woman, mentioning that she had had a dog, and she was just telling about the dog. I don't know what kind it was or anything. But she said something about, we were talking about puppy food, how you switch over to adult food, when they grow up and everything. And she goes, I always fed that dog puppy food, and it lived to be 25 years old.
Maybe that's the secret.
They must get really good care from their owners if they can live into their 20s. I know that cats can do it, but that's the oldest I've ever heard. I think I heard somebody else say they had a miniature poodle one time that lived to be about 20 or something like that. But
My oldest one, I had one that made it to 18.
18.
And I probably would have made it longer, but she was so arthritic, and I just thought, I mean, she still enjoyed eating and whatever, but she was just so crippled, and so we did have her put to sleep. But I got her when I was in college, and I just fed her like whatever. I mean, back then, what did I know? Gravy train, and so she didn't have I can't speak to if you're giving them this exact same, this food, because you see all those commercials now for fresh pet and raw foods and whatnot. But I don't know. I think it just kind of depends on the dog, like people, genetically. I mean, some people just. My mom, she's going to be 99.
Yeah.
So, sometimes genetics are on your side. Yeah, I think, good care is important too.
Yeah, but I figure if a dog lives into its mid-20s, the people must be doing something
that's
right.
pretty amazing.
Because you hardly ever run into a dog that is in its 20s.
Right, yeah.
Almost never.
Yeah, that is old.
I don't know if that means fox terriers are genetically pretty good that way?
I think a lot of the little dogs do live longer than, like Great Danes don't. I mean, they've got 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And
One time I remember when I was over in Fredonia, this was maybe 20 years ago. One time I ran into somebody who was walking one of those Russian wolfhounds. And she was telling us about the Russian wolf. The life expectancy of a Russian wolfhound is something like 6 years. But she also had mentioned that the dog cost her $2,000 was the price of the dog.
Right.
And it's like, I didn't say anything to her, but I couldn't help but think, why would you buy a dog that costs $2,000 if it's only going to live to be 6 years old?
yeah, that's
That is really crazy. But the prices of dogs have really gone up. Purebred dogs have really gone up in recent years.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Well, if anybody wants a terrier, we've got a couple down at the shelter.
You've got a couple of terriers?
Oh, we have the cutest little guys. One's in foster care. He'll probably be up on the thing later.
Oh, yeah, we're going to show pictures in a little while.
We've got Dougie
here.
and Crispin. They're little, one's I can't remember, there's some kind of terriers, but because there's so many, and to me, they look like the same dog, only different colors. Because I'm not really, I've never had a purebred dog. Well, I think we kind of have one now, but she was adopted from the shelter. So,
oh yeah. It was your foster failure.
One of them,
because that one dog, you were fostering it and then fell in love with it, and the person that it was promised to changed their mind.
Right.
So,
Yep.
okay. Now, twice this year, I have had Kelly Thornton on from the Sherman Small Town Rescue, and both times her relative, Alicia Briggs, has come on with her. They help each other. And I think that Kelly said that you guys and her help each other?
We do. We recently, well, she's just getting started out from what I know, and she needs a lot of help. And I mean, it's a big job. And we recently got 2 new commercial clothes dryers. So we had 2. One we had to keep fixing, and the other one we didn't have to keep fixing it. But we thought, well, if we're going to get 2, let's just get 2 that are the same.
And you gave her the other one. So
we gave her our old one that certainly she could use, and it's a nice big dryer. So she should get some use out of that. And
yeah, they were on earlier this fall. Her and Alicia came in, and
I think she does cats too. So I think she's
both.
Her
and Alicia help each other. And they brought a pit bull with them that day.
Boy.
Usually when Alicia comes on, she brings cats, but because they had a pit bull with them, and they didn't know what kind of a prey drive the dog might have, they decided not to bring cats, although Alicia did give a demonstration without a cat present, but how to use this certain kind of trap to trap a feral cat so that you can get it taken to have it spayed and neutered. And they were talking like they really want other people who are the ones that find feral cats in their neighborhoods to start doing it themselves.
Right.
Because
it's overwhelming.
At the time that I contacted Alicia about doing an episode with Kelly in the fall, she had 60 cats at the time.
Wow.
60.
Wow.
I mean, that's
in Sherman. In Sherman, or
she keeps some uses part of her house for a
No,
shelter.
but I mean, it's all like that area, like the Sherman area. There's that many feral cats that they've taken
I
in.
don't know that all of the cats that
or just
she had were feral. Yeah, but it's a big expense. They depend on they depend on donations to take care of these animals, and I think she really thinks that people should start taking responsibility.
I agree.
Because it's only her. She's
Yeah.
got herself and
Right.
a little girl, and then Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, the three of them. So I think she'd like more people to start doing things.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
help with the situation.
Yeah, people will, they find a stray cat or something in there, or cat hanging around, or somebody dumps one at their house, and immediately they want like someone else to deal with it. It's like, well, okay, why don't you just deal with it? Just take it to the vet.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, what Alicia was saying was, if you've been feeding the animal, and I guess a lot of people do, if you've been feeding the animal, it's your cat.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's funny because if you have cats, or like I used to have a lot of cats, and people were always, oh, I found a cat. Do you want it?
Oh,
It's
because
like,
you
because I already
like
it's
cats.
like, no, I already have 5 cats. Why do and you have no cats, or you have 1 cat. Why don't you just keep that other cat? I think I have enough right now.
Yeah, yeah, because you don't want to turn into one of these people who hoards animals that turns into
Right.
an impossible situation.
Right.
So
And that can happen fast with unneutered, especially cats.
oh yeah,
Yeah, you can-
yeah, because people think, because they have distorted thinking. They're what do they call it? OCD. They think they're helping the animals, but because they can't afford to take care of large amounts of
Right.
animals,
They're not getting taken care of.
they're not getting
Yeah.
taken care of.
They're not really doing them a favor. So
No. Well, anyways, maybe we could move along now to our pictures.
Okay.
Oh, look at how cute he is.
I know, isn't he?
Laying on
He's
the
such a
floor.
nice guy.
Okay, Northern Chautauqua Canine Rescue.
Adoptable dogs. Oh, here we go. I might not know some of these. 'Cause
Really?
If they're in foster care, like for example, Fern.
Fern, is that who that?
I'm not familiar with Fern. So whatever it says about Fern underneath the thing, which I cannot even read.
Yeah.
She's in foster care.
Uh-huh.
So I guess if you like the look of Fern, then
She is quite pretty, isn't
she is
she?
pretty, yeah.
What do you think she might be?
she looks like some collie maybe.
Some collie?
Some kind of collie, or maybe
Collies
a Sheltie.
Collies and Shelties, they're really nice dogs.
Yeah, they're cute.
They're really smart.
Mm-hmm. That's why I thought you should get Patch.
Oh,
Okay, here's one of our little terrier guys. I think this is Dougie. or
Dougie?
Doug.
What,
Doug.
my brother,
Doug, it is Doug, okay.
one of my brothers' name is Doug.
Oh, so this guy's little. He's,
Doug.
he's about 15 pounds maybe.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's just a little guy. He's super cute.
That's some sort of a terrier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember. There's like Lakeland and Skye, and we have
All different kinds
Yeah.
of terriers.
But
yeah.
we have this guy who's like tan and brown, super sweet. He's a little noisy in his kennel, but we let him run around this morning, and then he was quiet. So
Well, that woman I was telling you about that had the fox terrier that I was talking about, the first time I ran into her and her dog, I go, is that a fox terrier? And she goes, you are the only person who's guessed it right. Everybody else thinks he's a Jack Russell or something.
okay.
So,
Yeah, well, I'm not sure.
this is is this a girl or
Now,
a boy?
who is this? I see now. I don't know this one either. This must be in foster.
Aries.
Okay, so I know nothing about
I
Aries.
think that looks like it might be a male. Look at how proud.
Well, that one's really cute.
How proud he looks in that upper right picture.
Yeah.
Like I'm hot.
Oh, there he
stuff.
was. That's his baby picture. Look how cute.
Oh, how cute.
Wow. So he must be in foster care as well.
Yeah, must be. If you don't know him.
Yeah, I don't know him. He arrived on Halloween.
How many foster homes do you have?
Oh gosh, I think there's like 5 or 6 at
Five or
least.
six?
Yeah, at least that I can think of. You know, some of the people that foster, like their names are up on a board and the dog that they're fostering. And I don't really pay that much attention to that because when I go into the shelter, I'm like, the dogs that are there, those are the ones I'm taking care of. But so there, I know there's people that foster who they do a great job, and you know the dogs get adopted, but I've never met them. You know.
Oh, yeah.
But they do a great job, and we really appreciate. We can really help a lot more dogs with people, and the dogs. You know, a lot of the dogs that come in are just not. They don't do real well in the shelter. You know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
So it's,
I suppose
it's nice to have some.
a lot
some
of
the
them
little ones.
A lot of them have probably come in because their owner gets old and goes in
Yeah,
a nursing home
right,
or something,
right.
and they can't take care of the animal
Yeah.
anymore. And
I think that's what happened with the one that I brought home, the little Shih Tzu.
Oh,
When
yeah,
I got
yeah.
to the shelter in the morning, she's just curled up on the bed shaking, and I'm like, "Oh, you
Oh, the
poor little
poor
thing!
thing,
I'm
yeah.
going to take you home."
yeah,
And that was,
yeah.
and the rest is history. And she never
And then
left.
you turned into a foster
she
failure.
never
You wound
left.
up adopting the dog.
Oh, here's Patch.
Patch.
He's really sweet. He's a bigger guy. He's, you know, not huge. He's probably about the same size as Luke. He's just fluffy.
Yeah.
He's mostly
He's-
white. And he's got that
he's-
patch on his eye.
Yeah, and that's why you call him Patch.
I guess,
Now,
yeah. He was Tyson. He was an owner turnover. He was Tyson, and he got adopted, and they had him about a year, but he's the one, a neighbor was jogging by. This is a herding dog, and he ran after the neighbor and bit him, and I guess. So,
Oh, yeah.
they, you know, they were
I mean,
concerned. And then they had, I think, grandkids or little kids around, and they were just concerned that, you know, if the kids would get too rambunctious, and that's what a herding dog will do. They do nip. I mean, that's how they control
they'll-
whatever's running.
and they will, you know, we had this one dog, and we never knew for sure what he was, what the mixture of stuff was. But he would run in these big circles around the yard like he was herding us, you know.
Maybe he
would-
was. Maybe he was herding all the bugs in the yard that you don't see. Something.
I mean, he would just, and he loved it if somebody would chase him.
Uh-huh.
He loved it if somebody would run after him,
Yeah.
and he could make it a point not to get caught. You
Yeah,
know,
right,
it
right.
was a game with him.
Yeah.
You know, he really loved it. Oh, look at these cutie pies.
Yeah, they are foster care too. So, what are their names?
I think I
Dylan,
saw those two in the
and
newspaper.
Yeah. So somebody has. It could be another. We had 2 pairs of puppies, young ones, and I know one got adopted, but I think these 2 are still available. Aren't they cute? Look at that.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I have a weakness for that black and white.
yeah.
So
What? They're kind of a hound dog mixture, are they? Or?
I think they're probably like. I think they were. Maybe it says border collie or something,
Oh,
or healer.
okay.
They've got the little spots and stuff. But I don't think they're real big.
Somebody's relaxed.
Yeah, that's like this is a good couch potato dog. I mean, he'll play and he'll do his tricks, but if you just want a buddy, to sit around, watch football with,
What kind of tricks does he do?
well, he'll sit, he'll go down, he'll give you his paw.
He'll
So,
shake hands
yeah.
with you. Okay.
Yeah. And he walks really nice on a leash too.
Is this him too?
No.
No.
Okay, what's this one? This is Philly.
Philly.
Okay, like I said, we have a lot of black dogs right now. So we have Philly. He's only about a year old. He's really big, really, really tall.
He looks
And
it.
very rambunctious. And when we first got him, it was almost impossible to get a leash on him. When he would jump up, I'd have a hat on, and he would pull the hat right off my head, or bite my shoulders, want to play, like grabbing at my jacket. But we've worked on his manners. When you get to his kennel, you tell him off, and he'll get down, and I can go in, I can put the leash on, and I can take him outside now. And so he's a smart dog, and he's a really nice dog. You just want to have a big dog. So if you like a big dog, a big smart dog.
A big smart one.
He's a smart dog, yes. And he has a friend at the shelter. We'll get to Prince in a somewhere along there. Prince has been
They
there
get
for,
along real good with each other.
Yeah, they do. So they go out in the yard. Oh, this is the other little guy that's, like I said, tiny little terrier. He came in, his hair was a big mess. They had to shave him at the vet. This might be like some
A lot
kind
of those
a,
terriers have
yeah.
really long noses, don't they?
Yeah, he's real cute. That's what he looked like when we got him.
Oh, he was
And then he went to the vet to get neutered, and they gave him a haircut.
Oh,
and
good.
now he looks like this.
Looks like a totally
So,
different color.
His name's
after the
Crispin.
haircut.
Yeah,
Crispin?
probably. Yeah, Crispin. There's probably a lot of dirt in that curly coated
Yeah.
that he had.
Was he a stray when they found him? or-
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. He may have been from a puppy mill.
Oh,
He might have been
okay.
like a puppy mill dad. This is
Okay.
Matilda.
Matilda.
Yep, she's active, not real big, smaller than Luke, but not small, medium-sized dog. She's a nice dog. Let's see, she walks pretty good on a leash, likes to play, real active. I think she's, young, like a year, less than a year or two or something like that.
She was a stray that got found somewhere?
I think she came from Indiana. I mean,
Indiana?
we get a lot of dogs from Indiana on a transport.
Oh, okay.
They're in crowded shelters
Okay.
there, and we have a network of people that can pull some. And because we do take in strays and owner turnovers, and we get some from puppy mills, but we also, if we have space, we'll take some from out of state and bring them out this way because they have a better chance of getting adopted. Although adoptions are pretty slow these days.
Are they really?
Yeah, they are, and you don't know whether it's the economy or the time of year.
You mean a lot of people have not been adopting?
Right.
Is that what
So
you
we've
mean?
had quite. We'll maybe do, I don't know, one adoption a week or so. But there's been other weeks where 4 or 5 dogs will go out in 1 week, and then we get 4 or 5 new ones
Yeah.
in. But it's kind of slowed down.
I know you heard that a lot of animals were getting adopted during the pandemic.
Well, and then I read the Jamestown paper, and I read a opinion piece this morning. Now they have it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday paper, but this person was saying, well, dogs are nice. They have a couple of dogs, and one's older and one's younger, and some of the trials and tribulations of dog ownership, and so he was saying, well, so if you've ever thought about it, you could give it a try. And I thought, give it a try? No. Our shelter is full of people who thought they'd give it a try, and after a year they're like, it doesn't work for us. We're going to give the dog away, or
Oh.
take it back to the shelter. So that's, I would say to people who want to give it a try, come down and get one and foster it.
Yeah,
And then
that's
you can,
an idea.
You can
yeah.
try it that way. That would be a good way to
really.
try. So anybody that
Fostering.
thinks, because you don't have the medical expense. The dog still belongs to us, and you keep it until it gets adopted. Now, in the meantime, if you like it and it's working out, you can always adopt it. We call it foster failure, but you're not really failing. You're doing
Something good.
something good. It's
Yeah,
great. So
yeah.
I would suggest anybody that's thinking about it, but you're not sure, come on down, do the foster application, and we'll lend you a dog. So, so
And this is who?
this is Gavin. Now
Gavin?
here's another example. Gavin was adopted as a puppy, and then they brought him back when he was about a year old. But he's a super nice dog. He walks well on a leash, and he's real friendly. He likes to play. He's just an all-around nice guy. I don't really know why. I don't remember the story about why he was brought back. I don't think it was, I don't know if they were moving. People come up with reasons.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, Gavin's a nice guy. He likes to hug you. Will jump up on you, and some people don't like that, but I let him jump on me. So
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't, but I do.
So maybe he'd be a good match with somebody who likes dogs to jump up on.
Yeah, right. If you don't mind and you just want to play,
yeah.
and he's a nice dog. He's real playful. So.
Is he a really big one? Or?
No, he's probably about 50 pounds, maybe. He's a little taller, but he's thin, and I don't know what kind of mix he is with the spots and stuff. I'm not sure, and I don't know if we knew when we got him. That looks like Ranger.
Ranger?
Another big black dog, probably a lab mix. He's really nice too, big, playful, strong.
Yeah, look at that expression.
I know. He's happy. He loves his food. He's real pretty. He's got a really pretty coat. He's very healthy, and he's a young guy too. So we need some men to come down that like big dogs to ride around in their trucks with them.
Oh yeah.
Come on, guys. We've got.
Some dogs look like people could ride around on them. They're so big.
I know. He's not that tall, but he's very strong. And if you saw, usually labs have big heads, and he's got a big head. He's just but he's really nice. So I don't know how he walks on it. I don't know if I've ever taken him for a walk. No, this is probably Stewie.
Stewie?
Should I say Stewie? Yeah, Stewie.
Is Stewie a really big dog too?
He's another big giant. He's like almost as tall as that first one, that Philly. And I used to think he was hard to handle until we got Philly. Stewie, another really nice dog. He likes his big stuffed toys, but he just needs somebody strong. I mean, he can. One of our volunteers, who's an older woman, and unfortunately, a lot of our volunteers are older women. And she took him for a walk one day, and he saw a squirrel.
Oh no!
So then he took her for a ride.
Oh boy!
But she survived.
Did she recovered?
Yeah,
okay.
she recovered. She won't take him for a walk again. You have to be ready. And the thing, like where the shelter is, we're kind of, it's not really country, but there's grapes and there aren't a lot of houses, and we have some woods where the gorge is like right behind us. So we do have bunnies and chipmunks and squirrels and crows and whatnot. So it doesn't. You got to pay attention when you're walking the dog, and even if you are paying attention, and
something can still happen.
An 80-pound dog wants to go after a squirrel, and you weigh 95 pounds. Yeah. So I'm not sure what was the name on this one. Annie. Okay, I think this is another one that's in foster care. Maybe Annie's the one who had. Yeah, I think Annie had a friend, and her friend got adopted.
Oh, okay. So, and Annie is still there.
I think so.
She's a small variety of dog?
Yeah, well, I think they were puppies. They were pretty young,
puppies.
So I'm not sure how big they're going to get. Like I said, they're in foster care too. Real cute. I think they're less than 6 months old. Aren't they adorable? Look at that face.
Yeah, look at that face.
I know. That's my weakness, the black and whites. But 5's enough.
You have 5 of your own?
We have 5 dogs now, yeah.
Wow.
1 cat and 1 rabbit.
Oh, you have a rabbit also?
Yeah, we have a rescued rabbit. So. Jasper. That's another foster. See, we have a lot in foster. Oh, maybe that was Annie's friend.
Oh, Jasper.
Okay, that's what we're doing. Jasper and Annie are together.
Jasper was the name we gave a cat we used to have years ago.
So I'm really not sure of the status of these guys. If they've, I mean, if Jasper was one that got it, or some of those other groups where there were 2, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure one of those got adopted. But I think this one is.
That's a big dog.
Pepper. Yeah, Pepper's in foster care too. So I've never met Pepper.
Pepper's a boy?
Pepper, I think I think Pepper's a boy, and Pepper is obviously a husky.
Oh, yes.
So all you husky lovers out there.
Definitely.
Huskies are busy. He's beautiful.
They have to have jobs, huskies do. Yeah.
I know there's more.
Yeah. Another thing while we're waiting, another thing I wanted to mention to you about that fox terrier that woman had that lived to be 27 years old. That woman had been working like in I think a nursing home or something at one point in time. And when she retired from doing that, the fox terrier had actually been a service dog at the home. And when she retired, they told her she was taking the dog with her.
Oh.
They were going to let the dog retire. It was up in its teens.
Yeah.
And she and were kind of bonded, she and the dog. So they said, we're going to let her go home with you. So that's how she wound up with the dog. But
that's
it
nice.
had been a service dog. And she said afterwards, when the dog was living with her, the dog always knew when somebody needed a dog to pay attention to them. You know, she would always, the dog would jump up on a person's lap and stuff like that. So when I thought of that, I thought, well, I want that to come out too. So who is this?
I got to remember the name. Lucette.
Lucette. That
So Lucette was at the shelter, but some of our volunteers, we have this young couple that volunteer, and they adopted a dog from us, but they took Lucette home to foster her.
Oh, okay.
So she's in foster,
So
but she's
she's
real
in
nice.
foster
I took
care.
her to Mayville. She went up to Mayville with me, and for the farmer's market.
Oh, okay.
We spent an afternoon up there, and she got along with everybody.
Oh, good, good.
Yep.
But she's
He
still
woke
up for adoption then.
Oh yeah,
If-
she's
if-
still up for adoption.
If
yep.
if the couple who has her don't decide to keep her.
No, I guess they really can't. I mean, their living situation, they don't have enough space to, for a permanent home, because they already took the one. First they were just going to volunteer because they didn't really think they had enough space. I think they were renting, and but they were allowed to have a dog. So somehow they convinced their landlord that they could foster one and have one. So they were doing both.
Okay.
Luke woke up.
Yeah, I see that. He looks pretty alert at the moment. Look at his ears, what he does with his ears.
You're so cute, Luke.
And I think I've seen this one in the, in the
this
newspaper.
is Benton.
Benton.
And he has a relative at the shelter, Morgan. They came in together. They came from, it was in the newspaper, a horrible hoarding cruelty case in
one of
Ohio,
those, yeah.
where there were dead animals all over the
Oh,
property
gosh.
and emaciated animals all over the property. So
He has one brown eye.
yeah,
and
he's got one
blue
brown eye and one blue eye, and his relative, and I don't know whether they're siblings or mother and son, but the other one has both blue eyes.
Both blue.
So this is Benton. It would be really, really, really nice if Benton and Morgan could go together. They are very attached to each other. However, we are willing to let them, if there's another dog in the house, because we wouldn't want them to go where, they really need a dog friend, both of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
it would be great if somebody could adopt them together.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
that's a big, they're pretty big dogs. But they're really nice.
Oh,
and
they're quite
They walk
big.
nice on, there she is, Morgan.
Morgan.
She's a little bigger than he is. They're not, they're about his size, Luke's size.
Oh, Luke says.
Yeah. It looks like they could be giant, like
It
mastiffs or
almost
something.
looks like
but,
they could have some mastiff
yeah,
in them,
but they're
doesn't
not
it?
anywhere the size of a mastiff.
Uh-huh.
They're,
They just have that look.
medium large. They're super sweet, adorable, really, they walk nice on a leash. He's a little timid on a leash. Isn't she pretty?
Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
Look at those eyes.
They're a little weary of strangers, but they warm up quickly to
Oh, okay.
new people. So
And this it would be
this would be
Lucy.
Lucy. Okay. Lucy is in foster care.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember where. I don't remember who has her in foster care. Anyway,
She's playing.
she's available. Oh, this is, she's real playful. I was kind of sad when they did foster her because That's my buddy Prince in the other picture. And
Oh, okay.
they really enjoy playing together. They would play tug of war. They would just wear each other out, like chasing a ball. And the thing about Prince, the tan dog, he's one of my favorites. But a lot of the people are kind of afraid of him because he'll jump up and he'll act like he's going to bite you, but he's just really hyper.
Oh, okay.
And
is he still there then?
he's still there, yeah.
Okay.
I played with him this morning. He loves to play ball. He'll do anything for a treat. He's a little possessive of his stuff when he's in his kennel. And we recently put him in a bigger kennel, and I kind of forgot about him being possessive of his stuff. And here I was it was like a room-sized kennel instead of just like a 4x8. So I went in there to take his leash off, and he had a toy in his mouth, and he got kind of grumpy with me.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa. I said, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. I'm in your space. So I took him back outside, and then I took his leash off. Yeah, that's Prince.
Yeah, one of the dogs that we had was kind of funny with his belongings.
Yeah, so Prince is like, don't take my bowl, don't touch my stuff. And I'll walk him. I mean, when we first got him in, he was terrible. Like, you couldn't touch him. He would, you couldn't touch his collar. He was really, ugh. And I worked with him quite a bit. And now I take him for a walk, but I'll take a little stuffed toy and I give him that first, and he'll carry it. So we're walking down Gale Street, and here's this tough guy with a toy bunny hanging out of his mouth. People driving by are laughing at us. It's pretty cute. This guy, Mac, he was featured in the paper. He might be in the paper today.
He must be at least part Dalmatian.
Yeah, he's probably mostly Dalmatian and maybe something else because he's big.
Bigger than a Dalmatian usually is, or not? I don't know.
He's very solid. I don't know. I'm not that familiar. I thought Dalmatians were a little thinner. I don't know.
Didn't they have a reputation for being firehouse dogs?
Yeah, so we recently had some photos of him taken. They brought a fire truck down, the Westfield Fire Department. They brought a truck down, and he got up inside the truck, and we did a little photo op with him. He is really a nice, fun dog. He will play fetch forever. He's big, but he's not, I don't know, he will jump up a little bit, but you could tell him off and he'll get off. He probably wouldn't be good for little kids, but teenagers. He walks pretty good on a leash, I will say, but I don't usually take him. Someone else does, because just getting him past the other dogs, that's where he's like, because they're all, everybody barks. So, but on his own, he's like super sweet. I've gone out and played. He loves to chase a stick. If I want to he doesn't want to always drop the ball, so if you want to drop the ball, you pick up a stick and throw that, and he's after the stick, and he forgets the ball until then you're like, hey, I have the ball. So he's really a nice dog. I'm surprised he's still there, because he's so attractive, and he's so fun. But,
yeah.
Like I said, we have a lot of big
dogs.
And I don't know who your target audience is.
Did you say something, Chris? Oh, you've shown all the pictures. Okay.
Okay.
All of the pictures have been shown. So.
Do we have time for me to talk about a fundraiser that we have?
Yes.
Are having?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, unfortunately, your show will air after the fundraiser is over. However, we'll probably be doing the same thing next year. At Christmas time. So Westfield has this big Christmas in Westfield thing every.
Oh, I heard it was going to be the
weekend.
17th through the
18th.
9th.
Yeah, 17th, 18th, 19th.
Yeah.
So it starts like Friday night, but Saturday and Sunday they have vendors in Eason Hall. So we are going to be in Eason Hall with a basket raffle. And we've got some fantastic people are making these baskets. If you've ever been to a basket raffle, and they're making.
That'll be next weekend.
Yeah. So next weekend we used to have an online auction. We did that for a couple of years, but we like to switch things up, try something new, and the basket raffles have been a big success at the yard sale in conjunction with the yard sale. So we thought, let's do it. There we had to worry about the weather. So we'll be indoors at Eason Hall with a basket raffle with all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's not just dog stuff. Like people are, all kinds of food and coffees and chocolates and candy, and there are some dog things. Somebody donated a dog bed and some toys and stuff like that. So
Yeah, at the one that you had during the summer, and it got kind of weird in that little tent that it was in. I do remember buying some raffle tickets.
Yeah.
And throwing them in a couple of the bags, but apparently I didn't win anything because I never
Sorry.
heard from
I know,
anybody.
you know, but I mean, we had, I think we must have had like at least 20 things. So
There was a lot. There was quite a lot.
I think we're probably going to have, like I said, by the time this airs, it's going to be afterwards. But,
Right.
So anybody that's watching, and next year, remember Christmas in Westfield, it's always the weekend before Thanksgiving. And it's, you know, there's stuff going on all over town, like fun Christmassy, get you in the spirit of Christmas.
You mean the weekend of that is just a week before Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
The Thanksgiving weekend's coming up in 2 weeks already.
Right. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So what's today? Today's
Yeah.
Saturday. So next Saturday, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Okay.
will be Christmas in Westfield. I think Dave Brown runs around with his horse and buggy, and you can get a horse and buggy ride, and it starts and ends at Eason Hall, which at Eason
Yeah.
Hall on Elm Street, and that's where the vendors will be.
Usually the Mayville area the weekend before Thanksgiving has open houses in the
Okay.
in the small privately owned businesses. Usually you can go around with a traveling punch card.
Oh.
And every business you stop in at, they punch your card. And you can't cheat on it because every business does something different, either a different shape, a punch, or maybe they'll just do a rubber stamp on the one for their business or something. And then at the last business you go to that weekend, you leave your punch card there, and then they have drawings for each of the businesses has something you can win, and so I think that probably will be next weekend also.
Yeah, I think there is. I think the Inn and Suites is having a vendor show too.
Inn and Suites.
The Chautauqua Inn and Suite, is that what it's called? Inn and
the one here in the
Mayville.
Mayville.
Yeah. I think they're having a vendor show.
Oh, I didn't
And
know that.
We've been to that one before. They invite us to come up and bring a dog, and they do a little 50-50 raffle for us.
So you're doing just the one at Eason Hall.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to do the one at Eason Hall because we're going to do the basket raffle instead of doing the auction this year. And then the same weekend, Basil down in Fredonia, the car dealership, they always invite us. They put up a Christmas tree, and then we go down and decorate the Christmas tree, and they put a lock box out there so people can put in money donations, or you can put stuff under the tree for us. So they're doing that. So, there's only so many places we can go because we have, volunteers that work at the shelter, and then volunteers because I'll be at the shelter in the morning, and then I'm going to be at the basket raffle thing at Eason Hall in the afternoon.
Oh gosh,
so,
busy day.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy day. So yeah, we can't spread ourselves too thin. So I think we might have somebody that will at least bring a dog, and probably Mac the Dalmatian, and walk him around up at the Inn and Suites.
Oh,
just,
okay.
Like adopt me. Here I am.
Yeah. I've been. I met some people a few summers ago at the Chautauqua Institution. They had a dog with them that they were training to be a service dog. And those people, I guess they were only going to do it, the last time I heard, they were only going to do it one time because they're up in their 60s. But they had been training service dogs for a while. They'd take one animal and just focus on training that one to be a service dog for like a handicapped, I think it was for handicapped servicemen. So
that's cool.
That's always kind of neat. I've seen, I saw somebody over there one time, one summer. There was a woman in a wheelchair and a man that was with her that had a dog on a leash, and I think it might have been a German Shepherd, if I'm remembering correctly. and the dog was wearing a vest that said "service dog, do not pet"
Yeah.
on the vest.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be just devoted to taking care of that person.
Right.
And I'm thinking, since the woman was in the wheelchair, I was assuming the man was her husband and the service dog was for her, is what I'm assuming. You kind of like to see that, you
Yeah.
know, when somebody
Yeah.
has a service dog that actually helps them. But, you know, even some dogs, some animals that haven't been trained to be service animals will actually, if their owner is elderly or really elderly or handicapped or something, sometimes their dogs will just instinctively take care of
Oh,
their
yeah.
owners.
Yeah. Well, the dogs are
So-
really, I mean, they're really, I don't know, you know, the ones I have, I mean, they know, like, if I don't feel well and I'm just kind of sitting around, they all want to be next to me, you know. I bought a bigger recliner. It's pretty funny. So, because I would sit in this recliner at night and read or whatever, and always a dog wanted to be next to me. Well, they're pretty good size, some of them. So I would move over, so I'm like barely in this chair with this big dog next to me. So I thought, you know, I need one of those wider recliners. So I went out and bought like the recliner and a half. So the other day I'm sitting in it, one dog comes up and sits next to me, which that was okay. She's about 45 pounds. Then the other one that's like 65 pounds, she wanted to get up there too. So she comes up, and then she's like sitting half on me, half on the chair. And I thought, you know, I don't know how big of a chair do I need to get so that I have a place to sit comfortably.
There are chairs that are called a chair and a half.
Yeah, that's what this is.
That's what
and
that is?
Now so I thought it would be for me and one of the dogs, and now it's a couple of the dogs and me, and I'm still squashed. So I don't know. I should have bought the reclining couch, I guess.
The reclining couch would have been the best one.
Then I'd have all five of
yes.
them, and I'd still be
Yes.
squashed. So
Well, you know, I was at somebody's house. This is more about a cat. I was at somebody's house one time, and, well, it was some people I'd been helping, so I was kind of acquainted with the cat and the dog, you know. And I went over there to visit one time, and the cat was laying right in the center of a chair. It was a little wider of a chair than this that I'm sitting in, but not a big, comfortable living room chair or anything. And I asked, it was really funny because I asked the cat if I could sit on the chair with it, and the cat moved over and made room for me.
wow. That's funny.
The woman whose pet it was thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
That you mean to tell me he actually moved over and made room for you to sit down? So that was really, really, really cute. I just love all of these experiences that I have with animals. I do pet sitting for certain friends. You know, when they
you want
have
to come down?
when they have to go away, you know. So usually just within the Mayville area,
Yeah.
but maybe I could do that for you sometime.
We just never go anywhere anymore. Sometimes when we go, we'll take the littlest dog, the Shih Tzu, who's bonded with my husband. We often, you know, we're at the door and she's just like this. She wants up. You know, she wants him to pick her up, and she wants to go.
Well, you did tell me he spoiled her.
Yeah,
right?
so the bigger ones, they don't care. They just lounge on the furniture while we're gone, you know, barking through the window at the neighbor's dog or something.
Oh, you're
But,
just talking about going off for the day.
you know, for a couple hours.
Oh,
like if we're going to go somewhere where, you know, one of us can wait in the car, just do a little errand or something, we take her along, and then she's happy. But and the other ones, they don't seem to care. What are you doing, honey?
Oh, how cute.
You want to come up? You want to come
I
up?
think he likes you a lot.
Well,
He knows you take care of him.
I like him a lot. Yes, you're very nice. You're very nice.
That expression, you can tell, oh, I'm really enjoying this. That's what the expression on
Well, they're
his
supposed to
face is
really like
saying.
this. This is like their best thing ever. Yeah, you like that, right? Yeah.
I like that collar leash combo you've got on.
Oh, well, you know what? He was supposed to have a collar in his basket at the shelter. And I was there this morning, and I know he went for a walk with somebody else. And, you know, it was all, so we leave, and then nobody comes in till like 1 o'clock. So we leave, the volunteers leave in the morning. And then I left. So I left and went home to take care of my own dogs. I came back to get him. So it's all dark, so I left the lights off.
And you couldn't find...
And his collar wasn't in there. And by then, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to fish around through the totes looking for a collar. So I just grabbed a slip lead. We use...
Is that what that's called, a
yeah,
slip lead?
Because it'll tighten up, but he's not pulling. When we walk the dogs at the shelter, we put their collar... We don't put their collars on. They only wear their collars when they're going for a walk. So we put the collar on and we put a clip lead on that, and then we always use a second one too, a slip lead, because some of them are pretty tricky and they'll back out of a collar, and you don't want to lose one of these guys when they're walking.
Oh no,
you know.
definitely not.
What are you doing back there?
And then I guess you're supposed to use a harness if it's a small, really tiny breed of dog. Something about
you can,
the collars. They can get a collapsed trachea from a collar.
We get, you know, we'll have some that really pull no matter what, and but we have collars, we have harnesses, you know, depending on what they need or you know what we think will work for them. So, but this will tighten up, and that's why we use 2 of these when we walk. And when we walk them, we walk with the tension on the other leash, not on this leash.
Oh,
so
I
this
see.
leash is just for if something were to happen and you really need to get control, then you can put the tension on this one, and it'll usually, you know, slow them down a little bit.
I even saw some sort of a harness on a dog somewhere
I've
at
seen
one
those.
time.
It's called a gentle leader or something, and it goes on their face.
Supposedly, you can make the dog stop.
I put one of those on my dog, and she just chewed it off in 1 second.
Really, that quick?
Yeah.
Wow.
She did not like it. I think if you start with that, I mean, if you start when they're little, then maybe, I don't know, some dogs are probably more tolerant, but I know we have one that would pull a lot. I use a harness on her now, but when I tried one, I thought, well, maybe this will work to slow her down. Oh, no. She just, you know, it goes around their face, and she just pulled one way and then got a hold of it with her teeth, and that was it. So she did not like it. She was not happy.
Okay.
He's going to go back to sleep now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are coming to the end of another episode of Fresh Perspectives, and I want to thank you again for appearing today. And I also want to say maybe if you come on again in the spring, we can advertise next year's Christmas in the village of Westfield.
Yeah, we'll have to remember that.
So
hopefully this year will be a big success, and we'll want to do it again.
Maybe what I should do is earlier in the fall, maybe I should have a list of events that are going to happen that I should read off at some point in time. Of course, they have something here called, I think they've got something for it out there in the other room. They call their bulletin board, where you can put things on the on that they show when there's not a program.
Oh yeah,
going on.
right. I've seen that when I've looked at the channel. Just the announcements and stuff.
And I will see those of you in the viewing audience when I do the next episode.